Hi friends, good evening. Good evening IIFT. Am I audible? IIFT, good evening. Friends, am I audible? Fantastic. Thank you Aditya for closing the loop with me. Hi Kunal, Akshay, Chitra, Prasanna, Anmol, Parth, Rajat, Saloni, Gnanasekhar, Dhruv, Himanshi, Himanshu, Anmol, Chitra, Priyanka, and rest of my friends from IIFT Delhi. I hope all of you are really doing good. I'm a little curious to know whether you guys are back in your campus or still in your hometown. Hi Diksha, Disha, Afri, Sai Bharat, Kasi. Brilliant. Guys, thanks a ton for giving me this opportunity and thanks a ton for taking out time on a Wednesday evening. Feeling great to know that 6:30 young people are waiting to learn, and hopefully we both will do justice to each other, taking out 1 hour time. And I believe this is my second session for IIFT this year, or maybe last year towards November December I might have done one session. So this time I thought, okay, it's been time, so let's go ahead and try and understand how things have shaped up in our career, in our life, and what are the changes happening all around us. And with that intent, friends, I'm happy to be here with you. And the plan is maybe in the initial 40-45 minutes, I'll share, give you a preamble, give you a 30,000 feet drone view about how the landscape has changed and what we got to be doing in order to prepare ourselves for that challenging external environment and how to be a winner even in this situation. That's fundamentally, friends, how we are planning to take this session ahead. Last 15 minutes of our session would be completely Q&A. Right with it? Thankfully, the chat is on. So our way of, probably you can ask me through this chat session. I'll try and answer your question. Your question need not be on the topic of our discussion today. It could be on anything related to HR. If you feel Anil can answer that, by all means ask me. Yeah, that's how we have planned today's session, friends. But very quickly before we get into the session, I'm glad I have got 376 students today, and I'll try my best to do justice to your time. And by end of the session, if each one of you walk out with at least 2 key takeaways, then I'll believe that the session is useful. I do not have any PowerPoint presentations in my sessions. What I'm going to do and I probably refer to is I'll share my experiences and try and make it extempo kind of a stuff, and then let me know if it makes any sense. Finally, if it makes sense, there would be some sort of a guru dakshina also I would ask you. So let me not reveal what it is now, but definitely we will get on to that part of discussion as well. But first thing first, as you know, my name is Anil Kumar Misra, and I'm an HR practitioner. It's been glorious 24 years of practicing HR in all different sectors. Started with manufacturing, worked with Denso, worked with Anarcon, and thoroughly enjoyed my experience of dealing with industrial relations, trade unions, and in the entire manufacturing practices. When you talk about Kanban, Kaizen, TPM, quality circle, so on and so forth, there cannot be a better sector to learn manufacturing practices, yeah, than working for a manufacturing company. So very, very fortunate to get that opportunity early in my career. And then I moved to a sector often regarded as hospitality, and I got an opportunity to work for Oberoi Rajvilas. So friends, as per Condé Nast, that's an agency, every year they carry survey. Oberoi Rajvilas features amongst world's top 6 hotel even till today. But 13, 14 years back, I was the head of HR for Oberoi Rajvilas in Jaipur. Now, anytime we talk about competencies like guest centricity, or often regarded as customer centric, right? I have seen this competency being in practice in hotel industry, in Oberoi's. How anything and everything that you do in hotel industry would be revolving around the customer, often regarded as the guest. Unlike manufacturing, here you do not have a product life cycle. You will have to launch a product, wait for a certain time, then you will see how the product has been received in the market. No. On the contrary, in a hospitality, in a hotel sector, if your guest is happy with your service, you get the feedback right then and there. They're not happy with your service, then you get the feedback otherwise also. So how everybody, does not matter front of the house or back of the house, every colleague makes a conscious effort, walks beyond call of duty to delight the guest. I have learned that in hospitality, in hotels. Then joined IT services company called Patni Computers, which does not exist today because Patni got acquired by iGate, and iGate got subsequently acquired by Capgemini. So Patni is now Capgemini, right? All my friends who chose to stick to the company are now part of Capgemini. Now, as an HR practitioner, we all looked up to IT services company when it comes to people practices, be it employee engagement, be it the kind of people policies they would have, or be it the kind of maybe employee morale, or maybe other kind of activities with regard to HR. It comes to performance management, succession planning, hyper program. So IT services companies used to be benchmark, right? As far as people practices are concerned. I was very fortunate that I was the head of HR for communication, media, and entertainment business for Patni, and was operating from Hyderabad, was taking care of Hyderabad, Chennai, and Bangalore, the entire south, in fact. So that was again one phenomenal experience. Then I joined Tesco in Bangalore as the head of HR for IT services. Out of 6,500, maybe 80% of the staff would be in IT services. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Was also very fortunate to twice travel to Korea, Seoul specifically, and worked in those stores, understood the nuances of how people and what people go through, how difficult or easy, or what are the challenges typically people face being in those aisles, dealing with customers day in and day out. Thoroughly enjoyed that piece for about 3 months, and then then my first CHRO assignment came in, and I joined Just Dial once they went public. Was in Mumbai, and how an Indian promoter group or company which started in a garage in Mumbai went on to become a giant with 12,000, 13,000 employee base, spread across 16 cities, went public, and a profit-making entity. I thoroughly enjoyed that stint. And I was the first CHRO, and that was my first CHRO stint in my career also, and hence will always remain special. Biggest learning for me, friends, was how to manage stakeholders, how to manage HR, and how to make sure that the last mile impact is created. across different cities because it is one company. You cannot have a different policy for headquarter. You cannot have the practices differ when you move from location to location. Enjoyed that, then joined Fidelity. Yeah. Fortune 500, New York Stock Exchange listed company. Enjoyed being in title insurance, mortgage, and finance company, BFSI division. Yeah. Then cut to my current assignment with Magic Bricks. It's been glorious 4 years and 7 months, and thoroughly enjoyed my stint so far, and wish to continue doing even great work in future. So that's where we are. And just to let you know, when you open at Times, this belongs to a group popularly called Times of India Group, and otherwise called Bennett and Coleman, which is 180+ year old group. Cut to Magic Bricks, it's a profit-making entity and 16+ years in its operation. But before that, I would let you know that when you open a newspaper, what do you see? Different segments, right? Entertainment, then cricket or sports, and then matrimonial, then real estate, then jobs, and so on and so forth. Today, friends, if you talk about the group, you have Crickbuzz, you have Radio Mirchi, you have Times Job, you have Magic Bricks, you have Ghana.com, so on and so forth. Each of those segments, which you typically see in newspaper, are developed into a full-fledged business entity. Yeah. Now, my role is to take care of the entire strategic HR agenda for Magic Bricks. Yeah, which, as I said, is 16+ years in its operation, spread across 60 cities in India, is a profit-making entity, and we are in consumer internet space. We connect potential buyers and sellers on our platform. We are not into construction of any kind of an activity, construction-related activity. We don't have any buildings of our own when it comes to real estate. Yeah, we are an aggregator kind which connects potential buyer and seller on our platform. So fundamentally, that is the premise, that is the background. Let me take a pause here. My intent of taking you through that is very simple. Anything that I wanted to discuss or I'm going to share today will have relevance to any of those companies which I got an opportunity to work with. Now, coming back to our original point of discussion, yeah, workplaces of the future. Before we get in there, we all know that we are going through the biggest humanitarian crisis that we ever witnessed in our lifetime. And that's in the form of this COVID-19 situation. It completely changed the way we used to look at businesses. Yeah, that's the first change we are seeing all around us. I'm sure when you enrolled in this program as an MBA candidate, yeah, and you thought that probably we all would have good time, learn in the campus, make good friends, have good fun, right? But all of a sudden, in March, towards the third week, we got hit with this COVID-19, and completely, irrespective of the nature of the business that we are in, or what we were doing, or which standard you are in, which stage of your learning career you are in, everybody was forced to reinvent, to come creative in terms of making sure that the status quo continues, right? So first change that is happening all around us is the pandemic. These are the things which is not in our control. In 1990s, we came across the Great Depression. Now it's pandemic in the form of COVID-19. And friends, there is no guarantee. I want you to know that there is no guarantee that tomorrow there would not be any other crisis. Hopefully not necessarily in the form of pandemic, but these are the external things on which we have got absolutely zero contribution or zero control. What you can do is open our eyes and ears, understand what is that change happening, quickly embrace the change, fine-tune, develop new skills, make a move. That would help us out in staying ahead of the race. Anybody who does not react or does not learn from this change probably would be left out. And hence, very important to take that head on, learn, make a move. Yeah. No fun playing that victim card. Hey, I was a topper throughout my career. I have focused more on academics. And during my time, only this COVID-19 has to come. Some people also have reacted that way. But we do not have any control on that. And hence, very important for us to open our eyes and ears, pick up the trends that is happening all around us, prepare ourselves and move ahead. Precisely, friends, that's what is going to be my probably theme of today's discussion. But while we get on to that, I also want you to make a note of what is the change that we have seen. Mind you, when the first COVID-19 situation hit us, every organization, they were struggling because there were no economic activity happening. Every leader, every organization broadly have gone through three phases. Number one, how do we survive? Because you have people, you got to pay them their salaries. You have vendors whose services you already availed. Now you need to pay them money. And there are no economic activity happening. And that was the phase where organizations had to take plenty of hard calls just to make sure that they survive as an institution. Then the second phase came in, which was all about when there were those norms were those lockdown norms were relaxed. That's when organizations focused on what do we need to do to recover back the lost ground. So first one was about recovering, first one was about surviving, second one was about recovering back. That is when I'm sure, friends, you have come across situations, for example, car manufacturing company, because manufacturing as a sector got hugely impacted, but they didn't stop. They innovated, they came up creative, and car manufacturing company started producing production of mask. Why? Because they wanted to recover back. Yeah, and there are plenty of, for example, hotel industries who were into fine dining. They wanted to create a menu, and that food got delivered at your doorstep. Mind you, 5-star hotels delivering at your doorstep, the chef wearing those apron and really giving you that experience so that you do not miss out on fine dining experience. So these are the innovations that we came up with. Why? My daughter is in sixth standard, and when she was in fifth, all of a sudden when schools were closed, the teachers were struggling with Google Hangout, with Microsoft Teams or Zoom calls. But cut to today, if you see it, everything runs on an autopilot mode. They are very comfortable. So, friends, the learning lesson here is any crisis is a great opportunity, be it for an individual like you and I, or for an organization, is a great opportunity for relax, introspect, come up with creative ideas, right? And the people or the institution who do that are successful ones. Yeah. Second phase was recovering back. Third phase was about what you and I need to do as a corporate, as a company, to again get back to that excellence phase. So from survival to recovering back to excellence, these were the three broad phases we all have gone through. Friends, second realization during this time is the whole talk about valuation, the game about valuation. That bubble has already burst. For example, in good times, I'm sure you would have seen in newspapers full page jacket ad, which would talk about how we are the greatest company in terms of room inventory, or in terms of all new age companies talking about valuation XYZ. But friends, the bubble has burst. During difficult time, we all have realized and seen any organization, cash is the king. If you have a healthy P&L balance, if you are a profit-making entity, forget about those valuation gain. Probably those e-commerce players would take 20 years to, or more than that, to even come to that break-even point. So valuation game is not here for long time. What is very important is cash is king. What is your P&L balance? Yeah, in good times, everybody spends money, burns money, but in tough time, sad to hear, sad to see that there is mass exodus when it comes to job losses. Now, is that the good situation to be in? Answer is probably undoubtedly no. Does anybody enjoy getting into that kind of a state? Answer is definitely no. Is that a compulsion? Probably yes, just to survive. But people like you and I also need to take cue that the true test of character for a leader or for an organization, that's learning number 3. True test of character for an organization or for a leader is how do you behave when your chips are down. In great time, we do all those fancy, good to do things. But when things are tough, how do you people will determine the kind of flight you would take. Because mind you, people remember those. And they remember those for very, very long time. Okay? Hire and fire, valuation, these things are very, very short sighted approach or strategy. What matters is what is your commitment towards people? How did you behave when your chips were down? In that context, also, friends, in the same breath, let me also talk about 2 things absolutely not to do. If it is for your survival or if a company's survival, how to stay afloat. If for that purpose, if you are asking certain people to exit out of your company, by all means do that. And it takes courage to separate your personal and professional role. As a professional, as an HR, CHRO, I need to manage. I will have to go ahead and do that. Of course, but what I cannot do, what I cannot afford to do is, you cannot afford to demean the dignity of labor. Isn't it? People often say that treat people the way you would like to be treated. When it comes to respect, when it comes to other aspects, by all means, if you want a respect, of course, you got to be also living that value of respect. If you don't do that, nobody would really give importance. You cannot afford to demean the dignity of labor. Situation is not an excuse for us to get rid of certain people. That is inhuman. Please don't do that. Second thing not to do is any kind of a situation should not allow you to compromise on your corporate values. Every organization has got value, and keeping in mind short-term gain, if you forget the long-term loss, then ultimately you cannot regain the confidence. People would believe that you don't really mean, there is no value, which often we say that this is the DNA of a company. Yeah, values determine the culture of an organization. But because you are going through tough time, you cannot compromise on the values. If you do that, life becomes almost impossible to gain back the confidence of people. So this is with specific reference to the COVID situation. These are the top 5 learning that I thought I should be sharing with you. Number 2, what is changing all around us? Friends, the organizations of future will have plenty of workplace flexibility. Yeah, workplace flexibility meaning I'm not only hinting at work from home. I'm also talking about, because work from home is not necessarily a new concept. It was there even before the pre-COVID era. But what it did is it changed the way leaders used to think about work from home. Earlier, people will say, what is work from home for call center, for HR, for marketing, for sales, right? But now it has proven all of us wrong. When it comes to, friends, workplace efficacy does not matter. Every function is equally effective. And that has become a norm. And it works absolutely wonderfully. It's a win-win proposition for both the parties, employees as well as employers. And hence, I believe the future organizations would have plenty of workplace flexibility. Very quickly, let me also tell you, there are 1,000 benefits of work from home, but for easy understanding of student community, I've created an acronym. I call it STOP. I don't get into the detail, but very quickly I'll explain why this is a win-win proposition. S in the STOP mnemonic or acronym is social distancing. Only way out for people like you and I to feel safe or stay safe is to maintain social distancing. You don't need to go to work. We don't need to crowd up workplaces. You can still continue from home, and that is absolutely fine. Win-win. Makes a lot of sense. Because as an employer, I don't need to spend money on my campus, my electricity, my AC, and so on and so forth. For an employee, I don't need to. Yeah, I can operate from home. That is social distancing. T is for travel time or the commute time. Mind you, friends, it's a proven fact 20 to 30% of our productive time we spend commuting from home to office, office to home. And mind you, it takes a toll on my overall energy levels. It drains my energy, and hence probably it will impact negatively my overall productivity. Think of a scenario like what we are doing right now. Everybody is operating from home. Hence, the possibility I don't need to commute, and hence the possibility of my productivity level going higher is more. And also think of an organization. They don't need to spend money on transportation and so on and so forth. So it's a win-win proposition for both the parties, and hence it's here to stay. Third one is for O. S, T, and then O. O is for office occupancy. We already talked about it. This is the era of co-working spaces. Why? Because everybody is careful about investing in fixed assets. Yeah. And think of also a startup kind of a thing. I'm struggling. I don't have cash reserve. So probably, flexibility is the new norm, and allow people to operate from any of the co-working spaces. That should be fine. That will help them in terms of addressing issues like I don't have my own work office, yeah, or probably I don't have the luxury of maybe high-speed internet. So go to a co-working spaces. That's what most of the companies are doing. So that is also here to stay. Last one is P for pollution levels. I don't need to explain that. We all know that, and it teaches us how development truly means coexisting with nature, taking care of nature, reducing carbon footprint, yeah, and taking care of old age, young people, people who are asthmatic, yeah, and so on and so forth. Can we do that? Is also is one more aspect. So these are the benefits of work from home. While continuing on the topic of work from home or the workplace flexibility, which we are going to see in future, the way I look at it is, why work from home alone? Organizations who have a very robust performance management system, who believe in values like meritocracy, my counter narrative is, why work from home? It should be work from anywhere. Does not matter if you are operating from, let's say, Singapore, or you are going to work every day for 12 hours. Nobody is interested in knowing. What they are interested is, what did you commit? And where are you after 3 months, after 6 months, after 1 year, as against the commitment that you made in the form of your career, in the form of your objective. If you can establish, this has been my value addition, that suffice, everybody would be fine. And hence, I'm sure most of the organizations have already identified positions. And some organizations said for people, they don't need to come to work at all. Yeah, because this works absolutely wonderfully well. And hence, friends, that gives me that confidence to make a statement that future workplaces will see plenty of flexibility. The focus would be only on the net value addition of incumbents like you and I, but not how many hours of work or punch-in hours we have in the system. No, that will fade away. Okay? Third, landscape, what is changing? The number of full-time employment opportunities, I tend to believe, will slightly go down. I'm talking about maybe full-time employment opportunities this year. Why? Because organizations are hugely impacted in terms of business. They are playing the game of wait and watch. And I'm not talking about any specific niche skill. I'm talking about overall hiring or employment rate across sectors, across jobs, across positions. Now, that's not a great story. But when there is a decline in the number of full-time employment opportunity, I strongly believe, and there are facts There are data points to prove that there is a surge in the demand of gig workers, and it will give rise to a sector we often regard that as gig economy. Now, friends, when I'm talking about gig workers, I'm not only talking about Uber drivers or Flipkart or Amazon delivery guys. I'm talking about even white collar gig workers like merger and acquisition specialists, data analysts, data scientists, digital marketing experts, learning and development professionals, so on and so forth. The good news is, friend, India already features amongst world's top 5 countries who are extensively using gig workers. After US and China, number 3rd is India. Then comes your Japan and Mexico and so on and so forth. Yeah, mind you, gig is going to be very, very big. Big to the extent, globally it's going to touch $4.5 trillion business. So the bottom line is, gig is going to be very big. Cut to India, it's going to touch $420 billion in the next 6 months or so. Yeah, 5 to 6 million people are likely to join this economy additionally in the next 6 months. These are the data available in public domain. Now, if that is how the landscape is changing, how well you are prepared, and what is it for student community, for me, for other category of people, other generational workforce? What it means for student community is, I know in B schools we have got our selection, our choices, that I want to join Big Five, I want to join banking sector, I want to go and join internet, consumer internet sector, and so on and so forth. I pray and hope all of you should get job or your internship of your choice. But in difficult time, friends, for any reason, if you are not getting that, grab any opportunity that comes in your way. Why? Because what matters during this time is how much you would learn. That has to be top of your mind, focus area. Why? Because I'm sure again good times will come, and in good times, if you are already trained, if you have already learned something during the tough time, of course that was probably not necessarily your preferred sector, but mind you, that experience nobody can take it out. And hence the trend number or learning number 7 for me is, gig is going to be very, very big. Fundamentally also, I want to explain you and understand why is that gig is going to gain momentum. Mind you, there has been plenty of job losses, and those senior folks, by virtue of they being at a higher pay grade, are prone to job losses, and they are available in market. Number 2, young people, they believe that hey, I'm a subject matter expert, I don't like 9 to 6 kind of a foundation, I'm not married to any one company. Yeah, I'm a subject matter expert, I'll go gig and move out. I want that leisure, I want that flexibility. 9 months I want to work, maybe 3 months I want to travel, I want to go for hiking. This is on a rise. Somehow this is in developed economies that is there, and most of the people are on gig assignment. But in India, it's going to gain further momentum. We have seen a surge in the demand. Yeah. So gig is going to be very, very big. Now, the challenge also it has, friends. Okay, people ask this question, Ankit, Kaustav, अच्छा कौस्तव कहाँ काम कर रहा है, और रितेश सिंह, अच्छा सिंह साहब का लड़का कहाँ पे काम कर रहा है. टिपिकली पीपल नहीं, वो गिग है और ही वर्क्स इन 2-3, अच्छा 2-3 कंपनी में काम कर रहा है, मतलब कोई ठीक ठिकाना नहीं है. Sorry guys, Hindi. But the point I want to bring it to your notice is, still in India, unfortunately, that social taboo is still there. People do compare if you have a full-time job versus somebody who is on a gig kind of a role. Yeah, slowly I hope that will change the mindset, but still that exists, that social taboo exists in India. In Western world, nobody bothers. Dignity of labor is high, but somehow in India that got to be changing. But we are slowly, this kind of a crisis will slowly push us. Second thing, when you talk about social security, there is no job guarantee. There are no benefits. There are no insurance. There are no leave. So government of India has started thinking seriously about that. And I'm sure some of you are aware in Zomato, in few other companies, the PF and other things, those discussions are on. So with the new wage board or a wage code, workplace norm, these are going to be definitely considered. And I strongly tend to believe gig economy is going to be the future. And hence, what it means is future organization will have a composition challenge. In a sense, they will be forced to look at workplace or workforce composition, have certain full-time, have some gig workers, have some subject matter experts, consultant, etc., etc. Now, the beauty of gig workers or gig economy is it's not bounded by any specific country or probably a city kind of a thing. In gig economy, when everybody is connected, then global workforce becomes your talent pool. Yeah, and that too on work from anywhere kind of a mechanism. Nobody is required to go to work. Anybody can be a potential resource. So what it also means for people like you and I is the job market, the scope of job market would be further widened. People are available in the market. Global pool is accessible. So I need to ask myself, point number 8, that I want to bring it to your knowledge is ask this tough question to yourself. Who is my competition? Sandeep, Brijesh, Abhishek, your competition is not with people who would pass out from IIFT this year or in your batch, whenever that will happen. But the competition is all the management graduates of India, Russia, US, UK, China, so on and so forth. Why? Because globally we are. When Klaus Schwab, the founding chairman of World Economic Forum, talks about fourth industrial revolution, it also means that how the world is digitally connected. Of course, this is the era of artificial intelligence, machine learning, 3D printing, blah, blah, blah. But this is also an era of extensive on a very, very competitive kind of a workplace. That is what we are going to see in future. So the difficult question you need to ask yourself is, why should anybody hire you? How can I create my own niche? How can I create my own personal branding? How can I be visible? What should make you separate from rest of the people? How I can get highlighted or people would notice me? That has to be your top of mind agenda. Okay, very important. Now you can say, hey Anil, easy for you to give gyan. Yeah, but tell me, are there any way, any techniques available which will help me out what I'm good at? Answer is undoubtedly yes. There are techniques like Gallup Strength Finder, which would let you know what are your dominating strengths, core strengths. You have Johari window that will also help you out in terms of knowing who you are. You have plenty of psychometric tools which would throw some light on certain dimension like FIRO-B, fundamental interpersonal relationship orientation behavior, or disc profiling, or plenty of such tools are Enneagram. Plenty of tools are available in market. Nothing, you don't believe in anything, of course you know your friends, you have close buddies, you have family members. Ask them, what did they observe in you? What did they see as your core strength? Yeah, build on that strength. Why? Because also the same World Economic Forum predicted that by 2025, the following are going to be the skills in demand. And there you have personal branding and networking. You have digital savviness. But don't worry about digital savviness. You guys are born and brought up in high-speed internet era. And naturally, you have got that orientation. That's a strength you already have. Design thinking, growth mindset, problem solving approach, ability to take people along, meaning individual brilliance is good. It's always better to have great CGPA scores, but can you work and take people along in a team is very, very important. So, friends, these are some of the predictive modeling, analytics. World is full of information. Can you derive some insights out of that information? If yes, that will how you would separate yourself from rest of the people. Yeah, networking is also very important, gaining significant importance. Why? Because the assumption is if people get stuck, if you are well networked, you can pull the strings and make things work. Yeah, and hence these are the competencies which are gaining momentum. They might not be specifically written, and you will see that in the job description, but these are the unwritten competencies which has gained momentum during this time. The other, in terms of learning, lesson number 9, in terms of landscape, friends, what is changing is, mind you, we have seen multiple generations of workplace, of workers in workplaces. Yeah, we talk about baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, millennials, but the new kids on the block are regarded as Gen Z. These are the people born after 1995. Why they become very significant right now, friends? Because in India, we talk about the demographic dividend. Most of our people are young people. By and large, across organization, you see the average age hovers between 25 to 35. Across organizations, 70% of your workforce would be in that category. Now, as managers, very important, organizations will be successful if they understand what excites this work group, what excites these people, what is career aspiration to them, what is engagement to them. Yeah, probably these people say nonsense. Organize live rock band on the floor. Give me dating allowance. Give me movie ticket. Let me go with my friend. So these are the things. So I can't say that, hey, been there, done that, 24 years practicing HR. So I know what is employee engagement, what is fun at work, what would excite young people. Yeah, been there, done that, and this is the framework. Doesn't work. You must think, behave, act like one of them if you want to be a successful organization, a successful leader. And often people started talking about how reverse mentoring is also happening. I'm not good at IT or tech orientation, mind, possibly. So if we work together as a team, keeping the organization's goal in back of our mind, and I don't mind learning from you. And meritocracy organizations definitely do not believe in who you are, what is your title. They believe in what is the merit in whatever you are recommending, how you and I can add value. So, friends, these are the changes we are going to. These are the changes we are going to see typically in organization. Yeah, very, very important, and very, very important to make a note of all of that. And why did I talk about the competencies which is gaining momentum? Because these are the people, these are the competences which, if you know what is in demand and if you prepare yourself, the better are your chances of being successful. So, friends, as I said, 45 minutes, I'll try and spend time and explain my experiences in the recent past and throughout my career, what I have seen. I thought I must share it with you. I hope at least there are a couple of takeaways for each one of you. Yeah, and I thank you for taking out time. Now this is Q&A. Feel free to ask me questions. In the meantime, also let me know, how did you find today's session? Was that useful? Did this help you out? And finally, I pray and hope that all of you should do well. And thanks for this opportunity. Now this is question and answer time. Let me know know how was the session? Was this meaningful? Did you enjoy? Along with, of course, the questions. Rajat, design thinking, interesting question, but that itself is a huge topic. If you Google in public domain, you will find. Otherwise, you need to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to put a video on design thinking, growth mindset, all of that. So please stay tuned. Thank you, Shashank. Glad to know that you like this. Thank you, friends. Very good. Future of work. Thank you, Raghav. Thank you, Sarthak. Kiran. Thank you, Bapya. I'm glad this would help you out in any way. Thank you, Chitra. Now, if you remember, I asked you about Abhishek is asking a question. I think, okay. I've been a gig worker myself over the past year and a half, and there were times when I had self doubt due to don't do that. Gig is the future. Gig is the future. So probably I'm repenting right now. Why did I not focus much on this? But now I think this is the right time, and we must focus on that. Look at Disha Gupta. I like Disha Gupta, how she is creating her own visibility in green color. So everybody is white and she has created an icon and everything in green. So that draws attention. And that also tells me, reiterates the point that you need to be different in terms of drawing the attention of the people who are decision maker in industry when it comes to hiring or campus hiring or stuff like that, but not necessarily through that UX UI related thing, but all the competencies that we talked about. If you create something, mind you, friends, at 47, I'm a YouTuber. During last pandemic, last lockdown, I thought that my 24 years of experience is meaningless if I'm not being able to share my experience with young minds like you. And hence, if you look at my channel, Dr.HR, this YouTube channel, you would say, see, every week I run at least 2 such sessions. That makes me feel happy. I interact with young minds. I learn in the process. And of course, it helps me to create that visibility also. Yeah. So the long story cut short, for learning, there is no age. For creating your own niche and making yourself visible, create and first try and understand what you're good at. Try and build something in that area. People will automatically notice. Right? Disha, all the very best. And Shweta Iyer, okay, like today's session. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Genuinely, that makes me feel happy. And I'm happy that, you guys found today's session useful. I talked about Guru Dakshina. So I have got 360 friends joining in this. Guru Dakshina, if you like today's session, please, I would request all of you to subscribe to Dr.HR and make me feel happy so that, I do more such sessions, I do more such videos, and there are exciting videos about hiring, about interview, and plenty of other such things. Request you, please do go through Dr.HR channel, update yourself. There are few interesting interviews also, few satirical series also. I call them Dr.HR satires, plus few valuable stuff also you will find it there. Please do visit my channel, Dr.HR, and at least I'm expecting not less than 350 subscribers from this batch. Done deal? All of you said you liked it, right? So that is the Guru Dakshina you got to give. Shweta is saying yes. Rajat said already done. But Rajat, how about your neighbors, your friends, your family, everybody? Just kidding. But yeah, please do tell it to your friends if you like the channel. Yeah. Thank you, friends. Last, just to summarize, again, I'm saying difficult time. And friends, for professionals like you and I, any crisis that we go through, there are 2 quick solutions, quick outcome, natural outcome. For example, I'll give you an example. You are very fearful of stray dogs. You're walking in a deserted lane in Delhi and you got chased by stray dogs. What do? The two options left for you is run as fast as you can just to get rid of the situation. Number two, turn around, pick up a stone or a stick, try to scare the stray dog away. Don't hit. Try to scare the stray dog away. The example of running out of the situation is called flight. The situation of taking the problem head on is called fight. Friends, there would be plenty of such situations in our life. As an individual, in our relation, in our workplaces, flight is not an option. Why? Bhagoge to kahan tak bhagoge? I didn't like this company, I didn't like this manager, and you would find probably there are beasts in other places. And hence, take the problem head on. Because you and I are educated people, we are professionals, flight is not an option. With that, friends, I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for taking your time, investing in learning something. And these are tough times, but again, things will come back to normalcy. This shall even pass away. Stay strong, stay positive, but test negative, COVID negative. All the best, friends. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye. See you in some other session. Yes, gentle reminder, do not forget to subscribe to Dr. HR. Yeah? Thank you so much. Thoroughly enjoyed. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.